Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Kapendra from Kirodimal College, University of Delhi. Today we are going to discuss about a module Ecosystem Processes 1 Part 3 under paper Ecology. Learning objectives. After studying this module, you shall be able to explain nutrient cycle and biogeochemical cycles, list the major type of biogeochemical cycles, understand hydrological cycle and its impact on other biogeochemical cycles, explain gaseous cycles such as carbon, nitrogen and oxygen cycle, understand impact of human activities on these gaseous cycles. The chemical elements of life such as carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, calcium, phosphorus and other elements are taken up from the environment, which is used to form cellular component of an organism, and finally through circuitous route of several other organisms it returned back to the environment to be used again. These more or less circular pathway of chemical elements of the biosphere between the organism and the environment are called as biogeochemical cycles. As the name indicated, the nutrients are circulated through life, that is bio, and through earth, that is geo, repeatedly, that is the cycle. The movement of elements and inorganic compounds which are essential to life is designated as nutrient cycling. Elements are neither homogeneously distributed in the nature nor they are present in the same form throughout the ecosystem. In the figure, the part of the cycle which is chemically or physically remote from organisms is indicated by the box labeled nutrient pool, whereas the cycling portion is designated by the circle passing through autotrophs to heterotrophs and return back. The size of reservoir pool is important when one is assessing the effect of human activities on biogeochemical cycles. Generally, the smallest pool is the first affected by changes in element fluxes. For example, the amount of total carbon in the biosphere, but a small change in this pool has a very large effect on the temperature of the earth. Human beings are unique in not only requiring 40 elements but also using almost all other elements including the newer synthetic one. Human activities have also accelerates the movement of many elements which disrupted the self-regulating processes that tend to maintain homeostasis are overwhelmed and nutrient cycles tend to become imperfect or acyclic. For example, human mine and process phosphate rock and with such careless abandon that serve local pollution occurs near mines and phosphate mills. The purpose of conservation of natural resources is to make acyclic processes more cyclic. The recycling of water is good initiation because if the hydrological cycle can be maintained and repaired, there is a better chance of controlling the nutrient that moves along with water. Types of biogeochemical cycles. From the point of the biosphere as a whole, biogeochemical cycles can be categorized into two basic groups. The first is gaseous cycle. The gaseous cycle in which the reservoir is in the atmosphere or in the hydrosphere. Second is sedimentary cycle. The sedimentary cycle or mineral cycle in which the reservoir is present in the lithosphere, that is in the earth crust. The above classification is based on the input of primary source of nutrient to the ecosystem. Both gaseous and sedimentary cycles involve biotic and abiotic processes which are driven by energy flow, and both are tied with the hydrological cycle. Water acts as a medium for the movement of elements and other materials through ecosystem, without which the biogeochemical cycles would cease. Water cycle or hydrological cycle. Water is essential for living organisms as it constitutes 70% weight of organisms, and it provides medium for biological activities. All organisms, atmosphere and the earth maintain a circulation of water and moisture between them. This cycling of water is called as water cycle or hydrological cycle. The water is not evenly distributed throughout the earth. About 97.3% is present in the ocean. About 2.1% water is present as ice in the polar caps and permanent glaciers, and the rest is fresh water, which is present in the form of atmospheric water vapors, groundwater or soil water. The water cycles rapidly, but most of it, around 98.7%, is blocked in the lithosphere. The route of hydrologic cycles can be divided into following main categories. Evaporation. The surface water of ocean, lakes and other aquatic systems are heated by solar radiations. As a result, water evaporates and converted into water vapor which floats in the air. Condensation. When the water vapor rises into the air, it slowly cools and condenses into small droplet of water. These small water droplets accumulate to form clouds. Precipitation. The small droplet of water, when further condenses and fall on the surface of earth in any form of water like dew, drizzle or rain, is called as precipitation. Runoff. The precipitated rainwater accumulates and flows on the surface and subsurfaces of earth toward rivers, streams or underground stores, and finally reaches to oceans. Percolation and infiltration. The process of stored water flowing under earth which merges to the groundwater is called as percolation and infiltration. Transpiration. The water which directly evaporates from the surface of leaves of plants. Transpiration acts to move the biogeochemical cycles for all mineral nutrients that enter the food chain via the roots of plants. All water bodies continue their journey and finally reaches to oceans where they release their water and begins the new water cycle. Two aspects of the water cycle needs special emphasis. First, the amount of water that evaporates from the sea is more than it returns by rainfall, and vice versa for the land. In other words, a significant part of the rainfall that supports land ecosystem comes from water evaporated over the oceans. Second, the human activities like deforestation, compacting agricultural soil, etc., increase the rate of runoff, which decrease the recharge of groundwater compartments, that is the third largest global water reservoir. Impact of human activities on water cycle. First, the water cycle is altered by withdrawing large amount of fresh water from lakes, streams, rivers, and from underground sources. Second, the lands are cleared by deforestation for practicing agriculture, mining, construction, etc. This leads to increased runoff and reduction in the recharge of groundwater supply. It further increases the risk of flood and accelerates soil erosion. Third is various nutrients like phosphate, nitrate, and other pollutants are added to water due to human activities. These excessive nutrients and pollutants leads to impaired natural ecological balance which purify water. It is estimated that by the year 2100, humans will use or polluted all freshwater reserves, and by the year 2230, humans may have to depend only on precipitation. Carbon cycle. The biosphere carbon cycle is primarily concerned with the atmospheric carbon dioxide. The atmospheric carbon pool is relatively smaller than carbon present in oceans, fossil fuels, and other storage in the lithosphere. The burning of fossil fuels and agricultural wastes in addition to deforestation is the major factor for increasing of atmospheric carbon dioxide. In addition to carbon dioxide, there are two other forms of carbon, namely carbon monoxide and methane, present in the atmosphere in small amount. Both arise from the incomplete or anaerobic decomposition of organic matter. The carbon is a basic constituent of all organic compounds in the living organism and a major element in the fixation of solar energy by process of photosynthesis done by the plants is closely coupled to energy flow that are inseparable. The roots of carbon cycle can be divided into following main steps. Carbon dioxide is released from various natural and anthropogenic sources like volcanic eruptions, burning of forests and fuels, decomposition of carbonates, exhausts released by factories and automobiles, respiration by animals and plants. The plants also utilize carbon dioxide during photosynthesis. The major reservoir for carbon dioxide is present in the oceans, which is readily dissolved in water. Small amount of carbon is also present in atmosphere and sedimentary rocks. Plants take up carbon dioxide and convert it into carbohydrates by the process of photosynthesis, the animals directly or indirectly depends on the plants for food, and when these plants and animal die, they form the reservoir of dead organic matter. Decomposers release it to the atmosphere through respiration and decomposition. Impact of human activities on carbon cycle. The burning fossil fuels like coal and wood releases large amount of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Cutting of trees that absorb carbon dioxide causes further increase of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. The above two activities add more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, which result in the increase of Earth's average temperature. Impact of human activities on carbon cycle. This higher concentration of carbon dioxide along with other greenhouse gases influence Earth's natural greenhouse effect, which results in the warming of troposphere and surface of Earth called global warming. It adversely affects global food production and wildlife habitat. It also changes the temperature and precipitation pattern that raises the average sea level in different parts of the world. The nitrogen cycle. The significance of nitrogen lies in the fact that it is the essential part of proteins and nucleic acids, which are essential constituents of living organisms, and also regulates various biological functions. The plants and animals require large amount of nitrogen for their existence and growth. It also forms the major constituent of the atmosphere in the gaseous state, which cannot be utilized by the animals unless it is converted into some usable forms. The organisms utilize nitrogen either in the inorganic form such as ammonia, nitrate, and nitrite, or as organic forms like protein or nucleic acids. Thus, the atmospheric nitrogen can be used only when it has been fixed as one of the inorganic form. This fixation is done by biological or physiochemical process. The physiochemical process is done by high energy fixation such as cosmic radiation and lightning. However, the fixation of nitrogen by physiochemical process is very negligible, and the major fixing of nitrogen, around 90%, is contributed by biological process. In biological process, some nitrogen fixing bacteria, fungi, and blue-green algae takes molecular nitrogen from the atmosphere and combine it with hydrogen to form ammonia. This ammonia is directly available to the producers. Some of the nitrogen fixing bacteria are free living, present in the soil like Azobacter and Clostridium. Some algae in water like Nostoc, Calothrix and Anabina fixed large quantities of free atmospheric nitrogen. Another group of bacteria called symbiotic bacteria like Rhizobium lives in the root of leguminous plants like peas, beans, clover, etc., and fixes atmospheric nitrogen in the agricultural land. The roots of nitrogen cycle can be divided into following main steps. The nitrogen is present in atmosphere in the large amount, which is fixed either by physical or biological process. These microorganisms convert nitrogen into nitrate, which is used by plants for biosynthesis of different organic molecules such as amino acids, proteins, vitamins, etc., and later passes into the food chain. When the plant and animal dies, the complex nitrogen present in the dead tissues is decomposed by several nitrifying bacteria into ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate, which is again taken up by the plants. Some denitrifying bacteria convert nitrates into the molecular nitrogen under anaerobic conditions. This free nitrogen is again released into the atmosphere and the cycle continues. The nitrogen dioxide is continuously added into the atmosphere due to action of anaerobic bacteria, which acts on livestock's waste and commercial inorganic fertilizers added into the soil. This gas is responsible for global warming and also depletes ozone in the stratosphere. The inorganic fertilizers consists of nitrate that seeps through the soil, reaches into water table and make the water unfit for drinking. Excess nitrates in agricultural land runoff and municipal wastes impair the aquatic ecosystem. The nitrogen is removed from top layer of the soil during harvesting nitrogen-rich crops, excessive irrigation, and burning or clearing of grassland and forest before doing agricultural practices. Enrichment of soil with nitrogen or other nutrients causes the invasion of alien species or the opportunist weedy type species that can grow and overcompete in high nitrogen condition. Excess nitrogen when present in water, food or in the air becomes threat to human health. Excess nitrates can occur in drinking water due to some exotic legumes. For example, the introduction of legume tangan from the Philippines after World War II has poisoned the groundwater in much of Guam. The oxygen cycle. Oxygen is formed as a byproduct of photosynthesis, which is involved in the oxidation of carbohydrates to form carbon dioxide, water, and energy. The oxygen play important role in biological oxidation as a hydrogen receptor. The major pool of free oxygen is present in the atmospheric which support life. There are mainly two sources of atmospheric oxygen. The first is photodissociation, in which most of the hydrogen is released from water vapor and escape into the outer space. Photosynthesis starts only since the life began on the earth. The photosynthesis and respiration are cyclic, so it involves both release and utilization of oxygen and seems to balance each other. The roots of oxygen cycle can be divided into following main steps. Atmosphere consists of about 21% oxygen. Almost all living organisms required oxygen for deriving energy from oxidation of organic molecules. When water moves from atmosphere to earth surface and back into hydrological cycle, oxygen is also cycled through the environment. Plants begin the oxygen cycle by producing oxygen through the process of photosynthesis. The animal forms the other half of oxygen cycle during the respiration. There is continuous exchange of oxygen between the atmosphere and water bodies on the earth. The amount of oxygen present in the biosphere is relatively constant so that the oxygen cycle may get stable. So students, let us summarize what we have learned in this module. The chemical elements of life such as carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, etc. are taken up by organisms from the environment to form cellular component and finally returned back to the environment to be used again, which forms biogeochemical cycles. It can be categorized into gaseous cycle, in which the reservoir is in the atmosphere or hydrosphere, and sedimentary cycles, in which the reservoir is present in the earth crust or in the lithosphere. All organisms, atmosphere and the earth maintain a circulation of water and moisture between them. This cycling of water is called as water cycle or hydrological cycle. The carbon cycle is gaseous cycle which is released from the various natural and anthropogenic sources. Plants utilize this carbon dioxide and convert it into carbohydrates by the process of photosynthesis. The animals directly or indirectly depends on the plant for food. Decomposers acts on the dead animals and plants and releases carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. The nitrogen is present in the atmosphere and is fixed either by physical process such as lightning or biological process by several microorganisms like rhizobium, azobacter, etc. The fixed nitrogen is used by plants for biosynthesis of organic molecules which later passes into the food chain. Some denitrifying bacteria convert nitrates into the molecular nitrogen under anaerobic condition, which is released into the atmosphere and the cycle continues. Oxygen is a gaseous cycle which formed as a byproduct of photosynthesis. Almost all organisms required oxygen for deriving energy from oxidation of organic molecules. When water moves from atmosphere to earth surface and back into hydrological cycle, oxygen is also cycled through the environment. There is a continuous exchange of oxygen between the atmosphere and water bodies on the earth. The amount of oxygen present in the biosphere is relatively constant so that the oxygen cycle may get stable. Thank you.